Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking, all right? So shout out to everybody who is in the building early. It's good to see each and every one of you. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay and everything is looking good. If it is, please give me a thumbs up or a radiation emoji in the chat. If you all are having any difficulty for any reason at all, give me a thumbs down or an angry face and I will work on it, all right? Shout out to Lloyd Sky 9. What's good with it, bro? We got Vovo 2 Love in the building. Shout out to TD Media Group. Make sure you guys go follow his channel. Shout out to Win, Lose, or Rug. Make sure you guys throw some like enforcers in the chat for Win, Lose, or Rug, enforcing those likes. Shout out to my man AB Promotions. Shout out to Deneen. What's good with it, Deneen? We got Miss Nisi in the building, and shout out to Miss Nisi. All right, it's good to see each and every one of you guys. All right, so I don't know if anybody heard, but there's been some interesting developments with your boy Harvey Weinstein in this alleged justice system. At least that's what they call it. They made some changes in decisions about what happened with him. We're going to take a look at those, and then we're going to take a look at a little bit of information from the past to see just exactly how it is they came to these decisions. All right, shout out to Abby Normal. What's good with it? So in case you guys were not aware, what just happened was New York's appeals court has overturned Harvey Weinstein's 2020 grape conviction. Now, here's my question. How many people saw this coming? If you guys saw this coming, give me a thumbs up. If you guys did not see this coming, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Tony Taylor. What's good with it, bro? All right, we're going to listen to this little news clip right here.
The state's Court of Appeals just overturned Harvey Weinstein's 2020 rape conviction in the landmark Me Too trial.
The disgraced media mogul, previously convicted of sex crimes against 3 women in New York. Pedro Rivera in the newsroom now following the breaking details. Pedro.
Yeah, Mike, that news coming down a little less than an hour ago. The New York Court of Appeals, in a 4-3 decision, found the trial judge who presided over Mr. Weinstein's case made a critical mistake. During the case, the judge allowed women who said Weinstein assaulted them to be called in as witnesses. These women's allegations, however, were not part of the case. The appeals court ruled that Weinstein did not get a fair trial, writing that he was, quote, not tried solely on the crimes that he was charged with, but instead for much of his past behavior.
So they got him on a technicality, and also they're not even saying that he's not guilty of what it is that he was being accused of. I'm gonna run this, guys. I'm gonna run this back, guys, so you can hear everything that was just said.
The state's Court of Appeals just overturned Harvey Weinstein's 2020 rape conviction in the landmark Me Too trial.
The disgraced media mogul, previously convicted of sex crimes against 3 women in New York. Pedro Rivera in the newsroom now following the breaking details. Pedro.
Yeah, Mike, that news coming down a little less than an hour ago. The New York Court of Appeals, in a 4-3 decision, found the trial judge who presided over Mr. Weinstein's case made a critical mistake. During the case, the judge allowed women who said Weinstein assaulted them to be called in as witnesses. These women's allegations, however, were not part of the case. The appeals court ruled that.
So now here's my question. How was that not picked up during the trial? Shout out to Yo-Yo Queen. Shout out to Vega. What's good with y'all? How was that not picked up during the trial? Somebody make that make sense.
That Weinstein did not get a fair trial, writing that he was, quote, not tried solely on the crimes that he was charged with, but instead for much of his past behavior. So what's next for the 71-year-old disgraced movie mogul? Well, that'll be up to Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg to decide whether to seek a retrial.
So now, what do you guys think that Alvin Bragg is going to do in response to this? If you guys think that Harvey Weinstein is going to get a retrial, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't, then give me a thumbs down. And shout out to my man Steve Holla. Mac, what's good with it, bro? Shout out to St. Louis Misery.
Bragg's office, by the way, wasting no time, releasing a statement saying it will do everything in its power to retry the case. Weinstein's attorney also releasing a statement that reads in part, quote, this is not just a victory for Mr. Weinstein, but for every criminal defendant in the state of New York. And we compliment the Court of Appeals for upholding the most basic principles that a criminal defendant should have in a trial.
Now, let me ask you guys this. How much involvement do you all think, quote unquote, networking had in getting this decision overturned? How much networking do you all think was involved in getting this decision overturned? You think somebody might have known somebody somewhere along the line and somebody rubbed elbows with somebody, or somebody gave somebody else a nod, or gave somebody else a word, or did a favor for a favor? You guys think that any of that happened? You guys don't think that any of the links of a ethnic value chain had to do with any of this, do you? Let me know what you guys think. And also, shout out to everybody that's watching. We got 27 people watching and we got 11 likes. If we can get the likes to 30, that would be great. Make sure you guys enforce those likes. Throw the like enforcers in the chat.
It is important to note, Weinstein was also sentenced to 16 years in prison in California after he was convicted of raping a woman at a Beverly Hills hotel. So he's not going to be released immediately. He does remain behind bars in upstate New York. We'll continue to bring you updates.
All right, so there's that. All right, so now we're going to check this out right here. The rape conviction of movie producer Harvey Weinstein has been overturned by New York's highest court. The New York Court of Appeals, in a scathing 4-3 opinion, overturned Weinstein's conviction on sex crimes against 3 women, finding the trial judge erroneously admitted testimony of uncharged alleged prior sexual acts against persons other than the complainants of the underlying crimes. Okay. The court said that testimony served no material, non-propensity purpose and portrayed the defendant in a highly prejudicial light. Now, let me ask you guys this question. This is interesting because we've actually seen this kind of thing be permitted in the courts before. We've actually seen this kind of thing be permitted in the courts before, but Harvey Weinstein had a skilled appeals lawyer who caught this error and then exploited this error. Okay. The Weinstein team, which was eagerly awaiting a ruling, was not expecting it to be in Weinstein's favor after a succession of rulings in different courts all went against Weinstein. So what's interesting about this is that literally nobody thought that he was going to get this appeal. And guess what? He did.
At the top of the hour, Harvey Weinstein's sex crimes conviction here in New York has been overturned.
These cases are important because we think of them as part of the Me Too movement, or may have started. A lot of questions surrounding the decision as we just start to get this information in today. So we are joined by ABC News contributor and former NYPD chief of detectives, Bob Boyce. Bob, thank you so much for joining us. Mike, you covered this, so why don't you start us off?
Sat in the trial for weeks and weeks, was there on the verdict day. And Chief, I got to ask you, because we were all sort of looking around as there were a list of people that were brought before the jury that were not involved in the three particular victims in this case. You've worked on investigations dealing with Mr. Weinstein in your years with the NYPD. How does this news sit with you today?
It's a tough day for the victims of this crime. It's not about them. It's about the strategy of the prosecutor. They were credible, they were believable by the jury, and that's how we went. It's the fact that the prosecutor brought on others, people to testify against Mr. Weinstein to show his bad behavior, a pattern, and they were not charged in that. So this is the issue here. It's not these victims, and I feel really bad.
So now here's my question: if you're not allowed to do that, then how do you establish pattern, and how do you establish character of the individual that's on trial? That's the question. And here's another question. Why did Harvey Weinstein's defense lawyer not say something about this during the original trial? That's my question. What do you guys think?
For them, because Mr. Bragg has already said he's going to retry. So that's important, but they'll have to go through this all again, Mike, and that's terrible.
So you guys heard what he said, right? Alvin Bragg already said that he's going to give him a retrial. Alvin Bragg already said that he's going to give him a retrial.
In that. So this is the issue here. It's not these victims, and I feel really bad for them.
What's good with it, bro?
Because Mr. Bragg has already said he's going to retry. So that's important, but they'll have to go through this all again, Mike, and that's terrible.
Yeah, and I know Shirlene and Sam have some questions too, but it's important for our viewers to remember that following the case here in New York, Mr. Weinstein was convicted in 2022 for raping a woman in Beverly Hills, and he was sentenced to 16 years in prison, currently being held in upstate New York as he awaits.
So he's not getting out of jail.
No, and so that's an important reminder here. But this case, as you mentioned, it really did spark the Me Too movement.
It was a landmark decision, and you said it right off the bat that it shouldn't be a reflection on the survivors at all. And you do, and you said it right there. You feel bad for them. But what kind of message, that is the concern, the message that this could put out there to maybe future victims and survivors out there. Are you concerned about that at all?
Shirlene, I am. But this happened in the Cosby case as well. So this is not going to hold.
So now this is interesting. He said that this happened in the Cosby case as well. There were a lot of different circumstances that the Cosby case had that the Weinstein case did not have. And also with the Cosby case, the prosecutors illegally tried Bill Cosby and illegally imprisoned him. That didn't happen with Harvey Weinstein. Okay. So it's just interesting how the news will take a spin on a lot of these things to try to make these things comparable when they're not the same situations at all. Make it make sense. Real quick, shout out to everybody that just came in. I appreciate you guys. If you haven't smashed the like button yet, please take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not hit the bell, please hit the bell, subscribe to the channel, and share the stream to your social media. We got 31 people watching and we got 22 likes. If we could get the likes to 40, that would be wonderful.
Water for the next prosecution on these things. So that's where we're going to go forward. I thought there was plenty of evidence in this case that Mr. Vance could have presented, but he went into this strategy, which is up to him, by the way. So Mr. Bragg, Alvin Bragg, can retry this.
Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Shout out to Janesta Coleman. I appreciate you, Janesta. Make sure you guys show Janesta some love. If she didn't hook your boy up, I'd be sitting up here saying this.
I can't eat. I'm broke, nigga. I'm broke.
Shout out to you. Definitely appreciate it. Make sure y'all throw some flames, radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for Janesta's generosity. Shout out to you. Definitely appreciate it. Good to have you in here. Janesta says, salute everyone. I'm at work right now. Hey, I ain't even mad at you. Keep working so you can say this.
Get the money, y'all. There's poor people around.
I'm rich, biatch.
Silence. Silence. I ain't got no money, pie.
Shout out to my man, John Guillory. Make sure you guys show John Guillory some love. 13 months of being a member. Please consider becoming a member. Don't let John Guillory be the only member. It's only 99 cents, and it definitely helps because...
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
All right, let's get it.
And do a different job here. And so go forward. So it's just another setback. Sam, you're exactly right. This is a foundational case that changed everything. The power, powerful people were moved from offices who shouldn't have had it, who abused women. So these courageous ladies, they're going to go, I'm behind them 1,000%. This was a big part of my life when I was chief, and I want to see this retried.
Amazing.
Go ahead. Well, I just wanted to ask you, Bob.
Oh, man. Shout out to John Guillory and Win, Lose, or Raw. I appreciate you, bro. My man, John Guillory, said, you know what? I got up, got that crook out my back, and today I'm standing straight on business.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
Shout out to you, bro. And shout out to Win, Lose, or Rug. Make sure you guys show Win, Lose, or Rug some love with the $5 super chat. Definitely appreciate it, bro.
Cash rules everything around me. Queen, get the money. Dollar bill, yo.
Shout out to y'all, man. Definitely appreciate it. Yeah, shout out to AB bringing it for real. What in the smallest of new era? Yeah. Facts, exactly. You know what I'm saying? He part of that tribe to help him stay alive. You know what I'm saying? Definitely appreciate it, bro.
That was good. Coconut, yes. Bob, amazing. Meow. Yes.
Yes. Definitely appreciate it, bro. Shout out to Mike Nice. What's good with it, bro?
In all of the cases that you investigated and leading us to where we are today and all the cases, do you feel like that we changed behavior, that really and truly bringing these cases forward made a difference?
I certainly do. And I'm glad to be a part of it, proud to be a part of it.
Oh, man. Shout out to Miss Niecy. I can eat. Make sure y'all show Miss Niecy some love.
I can't eat. I'm broke, nigga. I'm broke.
Silence. I ain't got no money, pie.
Make sure y'all show Miss Niecy some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat. Definitely appreciate it.
Some of my detectives who I spoke to this morning, they're ready to go. They're committed, even though they're retired. They're committed to go forward with this, and I am as well, is that to get this thing done once and for all. And you said it before, he still has 16 years to face in California. So he's not getting out of jail. He's in a medium security prison right now in Rome, New York. He'll be held there, hopefully.
The thing is that once they start an appeal, as they look at the rest of the appeals, it starts to deteriorate the foundations of why he got found guilty to begin with. That's why this is so important. You know what I'm saying? So they're trying to downplay the effects of this, but this is actually really big. This was the first case that sparked off the Me Too movement. You know what I'm saying? Real quick, shout out to Carlton Way for standing on business for 5 months. Make sure y'all show Carlton some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat from my man Carlton Way.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
Could have been chat. You know what I'm saying? Could have been chat. One by one, all y'all getting timed out.
Based on this appeal in New York, still Mr. Bray can prosecute him. So we'll go forward. It's just another day. It's a bad day, but not going to deter us from really changing the world with this thing. I wish it did.
All right. Chief Boyce, always great to get your
Incredible.
perspective, and especially on a case so intimately aware of here with this Mr. Weinstein situation. Chief, thank you.
Hey, yo, speaking of which, I don't know if y'all looked at the market, but it's some nice coins that's way down.
White.
Hold on real quick.
White.
All right, yeah, I don't know what was going on there. It's some coins that's way down. You know what I'm saying? Today is a nice day to look at bonk. Shout out to MD Williams. What's good with it, bro? All right. So now here says Weinstein was also convicted of sex offenses in Los Angeles and sentenced to 16 years in prison there. Because Weinstein is already convicted in California, he will not be released, but instead transferred to the custody of prison authorities in California. Weinstein, who was 72, was a well-known, powerful man within the entertainment industry, and prosecutors said he abused his power to take advantage of aspiring female actors like the alleged victims to coerce them into unwanted sexual encounters. Okay, so now what I want you guys to do is pay very close attention to that and keep that in mind. All right. According to the prosecution, the quid pro quo of assisting them in their careers in exchange for sexual favors on demand was both common behavior and a well-known secret throughout the film industry. Hold on real quick. I don't know what's going on here. I do not know why that keeps doing that. All right. An explosive New York Times article in October of 2017 reported Weinstein had reached at least 8 settlements with women who accused him of sexual misconduct over the decades. Now, how many people knew about that? Before any of what Weinstein had done went to trial, he had already made 8 deals to stop these things from going to trial. If you guys knew about that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys did not know about that, then give me a thumbs down. The story, which featured actress Ashley Judd publicly accusing Weinstein of propositioning her in 1997, sparked an avalanche of accusations from women who came forward with similar accounts and largely kicked off the Me Too movement, targeting prominent celebrities for sexual misconduct. Okay. Weinstein was arrested on May 25th of 2018 and charged with 1st and 3rd degree rape for one victim, 1st degree criminal sex act with another woman. He was found guilty in February 2020 of 2 felonies, criminal sexual assault and 3rd degree rape, but acquitted of 2 most serious charges, predatory sexual assault. Now, how many people knew about that? That he was acquitted of the most serious charges. If you guys knew that he was acquitted of the most serious charges, give me a thumbs up. If you guys didn't know that, then give me a thumbs down. So again, like I said, all of these things start to break down the integrity of the case. They make it more difficult, as you can see. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Carla. What's good with it, Carla? He was also acquitted of 1st degree rape. Prosecutors said the testimony of women other than those whose claims formed the basis of the criminal charges spoke to Weinstein's state of mind to use forcible compulsion. The majority opinion, however, said that eviscerated the time-tested rule against propensity evidence, which in criminal cases serves as a judicial bulwark against a guilty verdict based on supposition rather than proof. So what they're saying is that bringing in these other witnesses, bringing in these other people to testify based on things that Harvey Weinstein wasn't charged on are things that threw off the jury. Okay, shout out to Darlene Parsons. What's good with it, Darlene? Good to see you. Okay. Manhattan's district attorney office could decide to retry Weinstein. And as you guys heard in that news clip, it seems like that's the route that we're going to take as of right now. Harvey Weinstein probably is going to get retried. We will do everything in our power to retry this case and remain steadfast in our commitment to survivors of sexual assault, a spokeswoman for Manhattan's district attorney, Alvin Bragg, said in a statement. Prosecutors are now reviewing the language of the opinion and must make sure that the alleged victims are on board to testify if Weinstein were to be retried. Now, let me ask you guys this. What if those people don't want to come back to court about this? What happens then? What happens then? And shout out to Nisi for enforcing those likes. What happens then if the witnesses don't want to come back to court, or if nobody wants to cooperate with the retrial? Attorney Douglas H. Wigdor, who has represented 8 Weinstein victims, including 2 of the Mullenix witnesses, those not pertaining to the crimes charged at the New York criminal trial, said in a statement, "Today's decision is a major step back in holding those accountable for acts of sexual violence. Courts routinely admit evidence of other uncharged acts where they assist juries in understanding issues concerning the modus operandi or scheme of the defendant." Right. So now here's my question. What makes it different in this situation here? Yeah, that's it. That's probably exactly what would happen. The trial would not be able to proceed. Shout out to Miss Nisi for throwing those like enforcers, and shout out to Carla. Well, he wouldn't necessarily go free, Black Spider. He would still have to do that 16 years that he's doing in California. But what would happen would be that those charges wouldn't be there anymore. It would look like a mistrial. Those charges wouldn't be there anymore for those for these things that are in question right now. You know what I'm saying? Which then, as you guys know, that's going to take away more. And then they're going to start looking at the stuff that he is in jail for and start using the appeals to discredit all of the subsequent verdicts. Okay? He continued, "The jury was instructed on the relevance of this testimony, and overturning the verdict is tragic in that it will require the victims to endure yet another trial." Okay? The Court of Appeals decided that the evidence of uncharged crimes allowed at trial was unnecessary to establish Weinstein's intent and served only to establish the defendant's propensity to commit the crimes charged. Okay? So again, even if it served to establish the defendant's propensity to commit the crimes charged, if it did establish or help contribute to establishing that propensity, I don't understand why that would contribute to the appeal being given. It doesn't make any sense. If this makes sense to you, give me a thumbs up. If it doesn't make any sense to you, then give me a thumbs down. The opinion also said that trial judge James Burke abused his discretion when he allowed Weinstein to be cross-examined about the uncharged conduct ruling. It served no purpose other than to display for the jury's defendant loathsome character. All right, which again, that's part of the trial, is establishing character. So I don't understand this. I don't understand this. Okay. So we're gonna take another look at another article that came out. Okay. Harvey Weinstein's New York City conviction overturned by top court. The disgraced Hollywood producer could face a retrial in Manhattan on sex crime charges after a court's stunning 4-3 decision on Thursday. So I'm curious, if he does end up getting a retrial, how do you guys think that the retrial is going to go? Shout out to K Kent. What's good with it, bro? If he does end up getting a retrial, how do you guys think that it's going to go? Disgraced film producer Harvey Weinstein could face a retrial on sex charges in Manhattan after a stunning decision by New York's top court. Okay. New York Court of Appeals judges Thursday overturned Weinstein's conviction in a 4-3 decision. The majority of judges found that a Manhattan judge in Weinstein's 2020 trial, a proceeding stemming from accusations that helped launch the Me Too movement, erroneously admitted testimony from 3 women who accused the producer of sexual misconduct. Now, again, this happens, it seems like, all the time. Shout out to Sybil. What's good with it, Sybil? And shout out to Last Name. What's good with it? This happens all the time. They have to bring in people to try to establish character. They have to try to establish motive. They have to try to establish a pattern. Those women's untested accusations had not led to charges, but nonetheless were used wrongly to undermine Weinstein, who ultimately was convicted of assaulting 2 other women, according to the opinion. Thus, it is an abuse of judicial discretion to permit untested allegations of nothing more than bad behavior that destroys a defendant's character, but sheds light on their credibility as related to the criminal charges lodged against him, the opinion states. Okay. The remedy for these egregious errors is a new trial. All right. So because of these errors that were made, a new trial will result. Okay. How the decision affects Weinstein, who is serving a 23-year sentence in the Mohawk Correctional Facility, was unclear Thursday morning. The opinion effectively means Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, who is leading a prosecution against former President Donald Trump, will have to decide whether to pursue a new trial against Weinstein. Okay. So again, you know, Alvin Bragg, he can't be trusted. This dude was very eager to file charges on Jonathan Majors, got that taken care of real quick, but they didn't secure what they needed to secure against Harvey Weinstein, which should have been a lot easier because there was more witnesses in there. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that briefly. And real quick, shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all have not smashed that like button yet, please take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not hit the bell and subscribe to the channel, make sure you guys hit the bell and subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, you're going to be asked about this throughout the day. Breaking news, the New York appeal.
And see, that's the question. That's a great question, John. And I agree with you, Deneen. You have to ask the question, how did they let this go? How did they, quote unquote, miss it? Did they, quote unquote, actually miss it, or did they purposely miss it so they could have came back and done this? These are the questions that we got to ask. Deneen says prosecutor and defense working together, in my opinion. Facts. I agree 100%. If you guys agree with Deneen, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down.
Court overturns Harvey Weinstein's 2020 rape conviction from the landmark Me Too trial, written by Michael Sissick with the AP. New York's highest court on Thursday overturned Harvey Weinstein's 2020 rape conviction, finding the judge at the landmark Me Too trial.
Oh, snap. Shout out to Black Spider. Make sure y'all show Black Spider some love.
Silence. Silence. I ain't got no money, pa.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
Black Spider standing on business. Shout out to you. Definitely appreciate it, Black Spider.
Trial prejudiced the ex-movie mogul with improper rulings, including a decision to let women testify about allegations that were not part of the case. Harvey Weinstein is, though, of course, he's in jail in Los Angeles.
Wow.
After being convicted of rape.
Other charges
2022, there. Other charges there. So he will still be in jail there. But this case, which came 4 years ago, reversed. More legal. Yeah, more legal.
More on that to come.
All right, so there's that. All right, more on that to come because those are two people that don't know too much. All right. So give me 1 second. We're about to listen to this legal analysis from Queen City News about this. All right. Let's see. There we go. This is it's just bizarre, but it's not something that you can say, you know, you didn't see it coming. You know what I'm saying?
Dick. Our chief legal analyst, Holly Froese, joins us now to explain what could happen next. And before we get to what could happen next, let's start here. That critical mistake, it has to do with the witnesses that the prosecution was allowed to call. Can you explain why this case is where it is now?
Two things could be true at the same time with legal processes. First, that Harvey Weinstein was so.
Shout out to TD. TD said check the supers. Did you send a super chat, bro? Oh man, my bad. I missed it. I ain't even see it. Oh man, I'm messing up out here. I'm not standing on business. Joe Scarborough took his glasses off, and I should have took mine off.
I can't eat. I'm broke, nigga. I'm broke.
Silence. Silence. I ain't got no money, pa. Get the money, y'all. There's poor people around.
I'm rich, bitch.
Hey, TD trying to subliminally tell y'all, hide the super chats, y'all. Save them for just talking today at 12. That's what he trying to say. We about to start our beef arc today. You know what I'm saying? We about to start our beef grift today. The beef arc is actually coming. You see, we setting it up right now. Shout out to Iron Will. What's good with it, bro? Make sure y'all show TD some love. So we doing Just Talking. That's what's good, man. That's what's good.
One that's kickstarted the Me Too movement. 100 plus alleged victims have come forth after him. He's been convicted in New York. This one now being overturned in California for the rape case. And so those things are true, but also through the process, the legal process has rules. And if you call witnesses that aren't supposed to be there, that aren't listed in your indictment, if you go outside of the steps of the boundaries that are supposed to be there, that's what the appeals process is for.
So now here's my question. As much as this was broadcast on Law and Crime TV, all the legal analysts that watched this, everybody that did reaction videos and stuff like that, literally nobody called this and said that this might happen. Nobody caught this. And what's interesting about it is that everybody's like, oh yeah, well, of course this happened. They're saying this now, but literally nobody called this out or nobody said anything about it when it first happened. Somebody make that make sense. So this just got missed by all of these TV stations that have, news analysts, legal analysts. It got missed. There's a ton of attorneys that do YouTube channels and reactions to trials. They all missed it. Literally everybody missed all of this. Somebody make it make sense. And real quick, shout out to everybody that's here. I appreciate it. We got 41 people watching and we got 43 likes. If everybody could take a moment, smash that like button, try to get us to 60, that would be great.
His attorneys thought that they were going to appeal in the very beginning. They said that this appeal has taken a number of years. Now it's finally here. It may come as a shock, but this was something that was anticipated at the time that it happened. It just takes a long time. The wheels of justice move really slow. The wheels within the court system move even slower. And so this was something that I had foreseen a while ago, is that it seemed like there were a couple irregularities with this case. But what we have to remember is now there are a couple things that happen. The DA's office can decide to,
Okay, there was a couple irregularities with the case, but nobody said anything about it. None of the people who are legal analysts, none of the people who have legal experience, none of the people who are lawyers, none of them said anything about this. This is something that they should have picked up on right away and said they made a mistake. Legal journals, academic journals should have wrote articles about it. Talking about how this judge made this error and it could cause this problem in the future. None of that kind of content came out, and that was never focused on.
We don't want to prosecute him again. He's not going anywhere. He'll sit in prison in California or in a federal prison, even if we don't retry him, or we can decide to retry him. Well, who makes that decision to retry him? The guy that's at the crosshairs with Donald Trump right now. That's Alvin Bragg. He'll make that decision to become the person who can either decide to say, you know what, this Harvey Weinstein case is over, or we'll retry it again, because the facts will still be there. It's just the manner in which they prosecuted the case may have, as the judge said, stepped outside of the boundaries of what was allowed to happen.
Specifically, the witness who was making allegations that were not specific to the case. So that testimony, in theory, more prejudicial than it would be pro.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of sombrerito involvement in stuff like this, which we will highlight momentarily. That's facts.
But that is it. Sounds speaking like an attorney. I mean, when the judge decides what can come in, when you're talking about hearsay testimony or you're talking about testimony in general, the key factor is, does it add more probative or prejudicial value? And that has to be determined on the spot. And if the judge made a critical error, not a decision-making error, but an error that wasn't based in law, then that's normally when a judge's decision will get overturned on appeal. And
so now here goes the thing, right? This is a big inconvenience, and this causes a lot of damage and a lot of trauma to the families of the victims, who now have to deal with Harvey Weinstein possibly not being held accountable properly for crimes that he could have committed against their family member, right? So now the question is, many times when things like this happen, it's because of a faulty judge, or a judge overstepping their boundary, or a judge trying to slip something in and not doing things that they're supposed to be doing by protocol. My question for you guys is, how should the judge be held accountable for this error? Because if you ask me, now the judge has put himself, herself, whoever, into a situation where now the judge needs to be held accountable because law wasn't applied properly. So what should happen to the judge?
So the attorneys, the appellate attorneys that work this case will say, look at the transcript. Let's see what the discussion was saying. Let's listen to what the judge talked about at the time and how did he come to that decision. And if he came to that decision that was based on something by feeling or based on emotion and not based on law, then by all means it will be overturned. But I hit it, you hit it right on the head. Probative versus prejudicial is the key issue that needs to be addressed. And the highest court of New York has said that.
I think that judges should have a credibility score. And the credibility score should be based on how accurately they preside over certain cases that are presented to them. And if you have a certain amount of errors, then your credibility score drops. I think that judges should be ranked based on accuracy and based on knowledgeable application of legal practices. I don't think that you should just be able to throw a judge anywhere. The judges who have the highest credibility score should deal with the most complex cases, and the ones who have the lowest credibility should be making sure that people pay their traffic tickets. But there's no mechanism in place for that to occur. So let me ask you guys this. Why does our legal system not have a mechanism in place for that to occur?
Listen, the judge missed that here.
Khalif, I do have to ask for the victims, and we've seen already on social media, many of them coming out, reacting to this. What duty does the state have? I get it. The evidence remains the same, but do they have a duty to try this again so the victims feel like they have justice? What duty does the state have?
That's a tough place to be. And I've talked to our DA here, Spencer Merriweather, a number of times about balancing what that feels like to ensure that you are fighting for justice, justice for the victims, justice for community. Justice is on all sides of you when you're in that prosecutor seat. But there's nothing bigger right now than the Me Too movement. I mean, this has kickstarted generational changes in Hollywood and in everyday working people's lives where they felt like they had no power. It's given voice to the voiceless. And so to your question, that's something that he will have to contemplate, but he also has to balance the duty of, do I have a case that I can win? Why did I call that witness before? Is that the only witness that I could have called that could have allowed us to get to a victory or to a conviction? And if that's the case, then the answer may be no, I can't bring charges. But I would assume, because there's 100+ victims that have already come forward, that there is another manner in which this case could be prosecuted. And I would assume that once the smarter folks in the room get together, they'll figure that out.
All right, so there's that. All right, so again, what's interesting about this is that the way that the news is reporting this situation, it seems like this was a pretty egregious error on the part of the judge. It seems like this was a pretty egregious error on the part of the judge, and literally nobody caught it. No one caught it. None of the legal analysts in the news, none of the attorney YouTubers, nobody caught this. Okay, so now the families are outraged, right? Which, I mean, you'd expect that. Weinstein victims outraged as attorney slams overturned conviction as major step back. Okay. Victims of Harvey Weinstein are outraged over the quote-unquote unfair ruling in New York Thursday that saw the former Hollywood mogul's grape conviction overturned, calling it a major step back in the Me Too movement. Attorney Douglas Wigdor, who represents 8 Weinstein victims, including Tara Wolf and Dawn Dunning, slammed the court's decision to order a new trial for the disgraced prosecutor. Or I'm sorry, for the disgraced producer. Okay. So there's that. Now, we're going to do some back information about Harvey Weinstein. Okay. Because there's some things that people may not know. And what they may not know is how deep the Sombrerito involvement in this is. Okay. This is a video that came out 6 years ago from the New Yorker. All right. And what they do is they talk about one of the mechanisms that allowed Harvey Weinstein to get away with this for so long, because he got away with this for a very long time. My question for everybody watching right now is, have you heard of an organization called quote unquote Black Cube? If you've heard of an organization called Black Cube, give me a thumbs up. If you guys have not heard of an organization called Black Cube, then give me a thumbs down. You will be shocked about who and what Black Cube is. Maybe you won't be shocked. And what's also interesting about it is that when you find out how deeply they were involved with what was going on here as far as information and information transfer, information availability, and clarity of information, you'll ask yourself the question, well, why are they not being criticized? Why haven't we heard about them at all? Shout out to Mike Mellis John. What's good with it, bro? Let's check this out.
This story was always, in my eyes, about the abuse of power. The techniques Harvey Weinstein used are, I think, important for us all to talk about, because while they are extreme, they open a window into a set of tools available if you're that rich.
Okay, so now do you hear what he said? The tools that Harvey Weinstein used are part of a set of tools that are available if you're quote unquote that rich. They're also a set of tools, quote unquote, that are available if you are part of a group of certain people.
For us all to talk about, because while they are extreme, they open a window into a set of tools available if you're that rich and that powerful and that bent on stopping dissent about you. As the world knows now, Harvey Weinstein was surrounded by allegations going back decades from women who said that he sexually harassed and assaulted them.
Do you have any advice for a young girl moving to Hollywood? I'll get lively with this. Harvey Weinstein invites you to a private party and forces you to stuff.
They were described as an open secret for years in Hollywood, but they never broke, and there are a lot of reasons for that. In the fall of 2016, Harvey Weinstein became aware that a number of women were starting to talk. One of the precipitating events for that was Rose McGowan, the actress, tweeted saying that Harvey Weinstein, she heavily implied without naming him, was, in her words, her rapist. She then set off a series of events that I think she could have never fathomed. Over the course of the past year, a woman calling herself Diana Phillip of Rubin Capital Partners.
All right, now I need you guys to pay very close attention right here. Pay attention to this woman named Rubin Phillips, okay? And what I want to know is why have these companies, the records of these companies, not been subpoenaed for review? Rubin Phillips, remember that name?
And set off a series of events that I think she could have never fathomed. Over the course of the past year, a woman calling herself Diana Phillip of Rubin Capital Partners reached
Diana Phillips of Rubin Capital Partners. Now, here goes my question. I want somebody in the comment section to do me a favor. Look up a company called Rubin Financial Partners, Rubin Capital Partners, and see what you find, okay?
A woman calling herself Diana Phillip of Rubin Capital Partners.
Rubin Capital Partners, Diana Phillip. Look that up and see what you come up with.
Reached out to Rose McGowan through a literary agency working with her. All seemed very legit. They offered her a great deal of money to speak at a gala kickoff event for a women's rights campaign that they were operating, right in Rose McGowan's area of interest. As it turns out, Rubin Capital Partners was a fake front company.
Rubin Capital was a fake front company. For what? Rubin Capital Partners is not a real company. They're a fake front company. Here's my question for you guys in the comment section. They're a fake front company for whom and for what? What are they a fake front company for?
She was, in fact, an agent.
She was an agent. This woman, Phillips, was an agent. An agent for whom? Harvey Weinstein's not a government organization. An agent for whom?
She was, in fact, an agent for Black Cube.
She was an agent for Black Cube. The fake front company was a front company for Black Cube. This woman was an agent. An agent for whom? Clearly must have been an agent for Black Cube.
This elite Israeli private intelligence firm.
A who? A what? Now, what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to take a moment and look up this company called Black Cube and let me know in the comment section what you guys find. And real quick, shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all have not smashed that like button, please take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not subscribed to the channel, take a moment, subscribe to the channel, and please share the stream to your social media. Now, here goes my question. Why has none of the records or any information from Black Cube, why has none of that been subpoenaed for review? Because I wouldn't be surprised if they had a lot of information that has not been revealed to the public. Because they were working for somebody. So my question for you guys is, who was Black Cube working for?
Was a fake front company. She was, in fact, an agent for Black Cube, this elite Israeli private intelligence firm, operating undercover using multiple identities to extract information. He assigned them to kill forthcoming stories about these allegations and to ferret out information about which women were talking. Rose McGowan.
So you guys see this company called Black Cube, and you guys heard where the company is from, set up a front company, and they're hired to extract information and create a disinformation campaign to distract people from what was actually going on. So now, again, my question is, when it comes to dealing with all of these cases and all of these trials, why were the records of that company from that are associated with Harvey Weinstein not subpoenaed and brought to trial? These are questions that we need to be asking. If they had got information from this company, I guarantee you they'd have had a lot more clear information to do the prosecution the right way, and they wouldn't have had to do any witness manipulation. But for whatever reason, they chose not to do that. Here's my question. What else has Black Cube done? This is my question for you guys. What else do you all think that Black Cube might have done or might be involved with?
Rubin Capital Partners was a fake front company. She was, in fact, an agent for Black Cube, this elite Israeli private intelligence firm, operating undercover using multiple identities to extract information. He assigned them to kill forthcoming stories about these allegations and to ferret out information about which women were talking. Rose McGowan was very much in the crosshairs here. She says that she was gaslit, that everybody lied to her, that she was living in a world of funhouse mirrors. They secretly recorded tens of hours of conversation with her. It reads like a spy novel, but
they recorded tens of hours of conversations with Rose McGowan, and yet we have not heard or seen any of this information, ladies and gentlemen. And again, this is not new. This video was published 6 years ago. So here's my question for you guys. It's not like there wasn't an abundance of information available to be able to put the nail in the coffin of this case without trying to go around standard court protocols. So again, we have to go back and ask this question. How did all this stuff get missed? How did this get missed?
It's all true.
What's going to happen to him now?
One of the things we've been reporting on is the concerted criminal justice effort targeting Harvey Weinstein at this point. There are law enforcement agencies going after him in a very diligent way, I think partly to atone for the fact that the ball was dropped a number of times over the years.
And it seems like that hasn't changed. He said it seemed like the ball was dropped over the years. The ball wasn't dropped over the years. There was a concerted effort to cover this up. A unified effort between the organizations that Harvey Weinstein was paying and the United States government and the population at large, always looking for a distraction instead of actually holding these kind of individuals accountable. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down.
There could have been criminal proceedings. We talk about in our story Ambra Badalena Gutierrez, an Italian model who had an allegation that Harvey Weinstein groped her in 2015.
I don't feel comfortable.
I mean, don't have a fight with me in the hall. Please, I'm not going to do anything. I swear to my children. Please come in. On everything. I'm a famous guy.
I'm feeling very uncomfortable right now.
Please come in now. And 1 minute. And if you want to leave, when the guy comes with my
Why
jacket,
yesterday you touched my wrist?
Oh, please, I'm sorry. Just come on. I'm used to that.
This machine that suppressed these allegations for so long had many moving parts, and one of them was legal in nature.
Now, you see what he said? The machine that suppressed these charges had many moving parts. One of the moving parts of the machine that kept this thing from going to trial and getting as much publicity on it as it should have got was legal in nature, like they said. It was legal in nature. So if it was legal in nature, what does that mean?
I'm sorry, just come on. I'm used to that.
This machine that suppressed these allegations for so long had many moving parts, and one of them was legal in nature. When you look at the agreement Ambra Badalena Gutierrez signed, it is highly unusual. It specifically calls for the destruction of all evidence related to the incident. It has draconian penalties for breach. It had her sign a sworn affidavit saying that nothing chronicled in the recording that he admitted to in the recording ever happened.
I think Darlene is onto something. Darlene says it seems like they were trying to protect him or something. That's exactly what was happening. That's exactly what was happening. And I think that we have the evidence to be able to confidently say that that's what happened. If you guys agree with Darlene, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree with Darlene, and give me a thumbs down. I agree 100%. They were absolutely trying to protect him.
At least if she ever breached. You know, one lawyer I talked to with knowledge of that agreement said, this is one of the most usurious, unethical agreements I've ever seen. This New Yorker story was the very first to report sexual assault and rape at a point in time at which Harvey Weinstein
Shout out to Lehman Lucas. What's
already
good, bro?
saying, you know, this is just harassment. This isn't so bad. I'm going to get treatment. This is going to pass. It was always apparent to me how important this was. Every woman who spoke out in our coverage did an incredibly brave thing. It was painful personally. It put them at professional risk. They put a lot on the line. The fact that this story has had the impact that it has had is, I think, deeply tied to this moment in history. My own sister spoke out against a powerful man in Hollywood. That catalyzed a lot of conversation, but it was very different than the women who came out against Bill Cosby.
So as you guys can see, they always try to make a link between the Bill Cosby case and the Harvey Weinstein case, which again, they are completely, totally, and 100% were completely 100% and totally different. I guarantee you, if you go through and look at what Bill Cosby had going on, there was no wild ex-military organization with ties to another country like Black Cube trying to scramble information on Bill Cosby's behalf. I guarantee you that you won't find that. But for whatever reason, we've got to have the black and white duality going on to take away from the fact that these are exclusively a majority crime committed by people like Harvey Weinstein. Those are the undeniable facts, which is one of the reasons why when it comes to prosecuting these egregious type of crimes, they immediately have to try to find a black person to line up next to this white person to take the focus off of the fact that they abundantly commit the majority of these kind of crimes. You know what I'm saying?
Also face a really aggressive level of public humiliation. And then there was Roger Ailes, and then there's been this cascade of men since. And I think what people have...
And look at that cascade of men. You see anybody else that looks like Bill Cosby? Now, if there's this cascade of men of all these things happening, why not use one of these guys as an example? I mean, you got plenty. They got 8 right here on the screen. Where's the other Bill Cosbys? Oh, okay. They want to use Diddy, who hasn't been convicted of anything yet. This is one of the reasons why the media should never be trusted. Because what it's doing right now in trying to compare Bill Cosby and Harvey Weinstein, this is one of the jobs of the media. One of the jobs of the media is to gaslight these people into a false social status so that they can sleep well with their degeneracies at night and always have somebody else to look at as if they're not doing anything wrong. The mainstream media is a WSPC protection and gaslighting mechanism. Clearly. They forgot to put Elvis Presley on here, by the way, but I don't think Elvis really had any charges. He just liked his women high school age.
Right. As the Weinstein effect is actually a much broader swath of a moment in our culture and our conversation on these issues. Finally, one story after another piling on has let people understand that they can speak and that there's strength in numbers.
And then the criminal justice system is so incompetent that once you think that you've gotten something taken care of, then a couple years later, what will end up happening is that all the work that you've done will be for nothing because of an incompetent criminal justice system. You know what I'm saying? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't smashed that like button yet, smash that like button. If you haven't hit the bell yet, hit the bell. If you're watching this video on the replay, make sure you hashtag replay gang, timestamp what you comment. Shout out to my man, Win Loser Rug. Everybody make sure y'all show these people some love because they are the reason why the content keeps coming. Shout out to Win Loser Rug. Shout out to my man, AB Promotions. Shout out to Miss Nisi. Shout out to Carlton. Shout out to TD. And shout out to Black Spider. Definitely appreciate it. If you're not part of the Discord, take a moment, hit that link that's pinned in the chat. If you're not following me on Twitter, make sure you go and follow me on Twitter. All right. If you don't have the alerts hit, make sure that those alerts are hit. And as always, ladies and gentlemen,
walk up in the life. Yeah, I'm really talking my shit like I'm really him. Hold up, look, walking this bitch like, hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey. I'm really him. Don't believe me? Come and see me. Got 3 wishes from my genie. Now I'm on your local TV. Y'all on tour. Got demons say she wanna come and see me. When I'm in a local city, I'm like, pause though. Please step aside so they can see.
Silence. I ain't got no money, pop.
Talking my shit like I'm really him, on God. Walk up in this like, yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. I'm the realest from my city. That's on money, that's on Kiwi, that's on mamas. Niggas don't believe me, come and see me. I been dodging all that face. All these niggas working broke, but I been getting paid. All that know me from the street. Flexing for what fit. Yeah, that's like every other week. Talk behind my back. I kick my feet up, have a seat. Cause at the end of the day, all these watching me as I walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him, on God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him, on God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. Hold up. Look, walking this light. Hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey. I'm really him.